I estimated the property damage in Mob Psycho 100.
The street that got face planted, $60. The high rise that got smashed, $16 million. The cop car that went boom, priceless, cause ACAB. The city getting bombed, you have to watch to find out.
Mob Psycho 100 tells the story of Mob, an awkward and anxious 8th grade psychic who goes on the quintessential self-development journey. He lifts weights, reads self-help books, talks to girls, and exercises a whole lot of evil spirits. Mob's striving to be the best version of himself, and he really struggles with expressing his emotions. He lets them build up to the point where they come out in these wild fits of rage, where he breaks things. And I'm not talking about breaking controllers after losing 3 games of Call of Duty in a row, which I've never done, by the way. I'm talking about destroying homes, offices, transmission towers, giant green balls. Property damage is a crucial component in Mob Psycho. It occurs so much that it had me thinking, how much does all of this cost? You can't just Google it or search the Mob Psycho wiki for these answers. So I did it. I estimated the property damage in Mob Psycho. All 3 seasons and 36 episodes. Why? I don't know. Estimating the property damage in Mob Psycho takes 3 steps. Step 1, watch all of Mob Psycho and note when property damage occurs. Step 2, identify and measure each type of property damage. Step 3, attach a cost. Out of the 36 episodes, I found 18 with property damage. 23 different types of property damage occur in the series. I've divided them into 4 categories. In the buildings category, we have single-family homes, multi-residential, low-rise, medium-rise, high-rise, and apartment complex. I've decided to classify non-residential buildings based on height by story instead of office, government, or commercial. Because similar to myself, we can't tell what's going on the inside. In public goods, we have schools, family marts, Tokyo Skytree, giant green balls, transmission towers, sewer systems, pedestrian bridges, streets, and trees. In vehicles, we have cars, buses, and helicopters. And in the last category, I punched a hole in the wall because I lack emotional regulation. Measured in per square feet, we have roofs, cement flooring, hot patch asphalt, concrete walls, and one-way glass. In order to get an accurate cost estimation of the property damage that occurs in Mob Psycho, we need to base it at a time and place within reality. Because as we all know, prices fluctuate from year to year and place to place. The same $2 million home today might have cost $300,000 in the 1970s. We know that 2013 is the year that Mob Psycho takes place because of the multiple calendars and signs that we see in the show. For example, this construction sign that Mob passes by says 2013. And we also see people playing the PlayStation Vita. RIP to another lost legend. Seasoning City is the location of Mob Psycho, which is based on Fujimino Saitama in Japan. We know this because the locations in Seasoning City mirror the locations in Fujimino. For example, the side-by-side shots of Seasoning City Station mirror the Fujimino State West Station. Also in general, Mob Psycho takes place in a more suburban setting, and even in the more dense business commercial districts, the buildings are on the smaller side compared to the super high rises of Tokyo. Now that we have set Mob Psycho during 2013 in Fujimino, we can attach property damage costs. My estimations were based on various Fujimino listings, historical real estate records, articles, and, most importantly, asking ChatGPT. I might as well get used to the thing that's gonna take my job one day. The resources on the internet don't always have access to the most relevant data. In fact, for most of my property damage items, I wasn't able to find 2013 Fujimino data, and instead I found 2021 Tokyo data. And y'all know that the city is more expensive than the burbs and that inflation has hands.
Square.
When I had 2021 Tokyo data, I converted it to 2013 Fujimino data based on 2 metrics: a 25% cost reduction in order to convert Tokyo to Fujimino, and a 16% reduction to account for inflation that occurred between 2013 to 2021. For the unacquainted, ChatGPT is a powerful AI bot that can write your emails, draft your essays, code for you, and even help you determine the property damage that occurs in your favorite anime. I'm using AI in the way that it was created. ChatGPT, how much does the average car cost in Fujimino in 2013?
$25,000,
All right, how about a single family home?
$1 million,
Sick. How do you feel about the anime trope of 40,000-year-old spirits inhabiting the body of 12-year-old girls?
As an AI, I am not properly equipped to tackle that question. But yes, anyone defending this should go to jail.
Alright, ChatGPT actually doesn't work this cleanly. It typically gives a few paragraphs of explanation. If you're interested on further information about each property damage item, I'm going to be leaving some information in the description. Now that we've gone through the methods, here are the property damage costs for Mob Psycho 100.
Single family, 327K. Multi-residential, 461K. Low rise, 2.4 mil. Medium rise, 16.1 mil. High rise, 96.6 mil. School, 14 million. Family Mart, 256K. Tokyo Skytree, 400 million. Transmission Tower, 358K. Pedestrian Bridge, 135K. Street, 30K. Tree, 1K. Car, 23K. Bus, 333K. Helicopter, 300K. Per square foot of roof, 23. Cement flooring, 5. Hot patch asphalt, 4. Concrete wall, 25. One-way glass, 113.
You'll notice that the costs for apartment complex, sewer system, and giant green balls don't have any costs attached to them, and that's because I'm going to get to them later on in the video. Alright, let's get into it. Now, I'm the Seasoning City Public Accountant. I might not have a CPA, but I do have a Bachelor of Arts in Economics, and I've watched a ton of anime, so I'm very qualified. Mob blows up the cement flooring of Dimple's Laughing Cult. There's 20 rows of people, 30 across. Each body is about 2 feet wide. We multiply that together for 1,200 square feet of cement flooring. Mob and Swiffer Duster Boy destroy an entire school grounds for the cost of $14 million in property damage. It's okay though, Reagan's off to the side, recording with his smartphone, shouting, "World Star!" and uploading it to YouTube for ad revenue. Ritsu does what anime characters do when they join student council. Power trip. He uses his newfound psychic abilities to beat up rival school members. We can see in this picture that there's a hole of about 6 feet by 2 feet, and then a 3 feet hole right here for a total of 15 square feet of hot patch asphalt that needs to be filled in. Mob energy blasts Scar member Koyama through an 11-story medium-rise building. During these episodes, Mob and company destroy the Scar headquarters. Unfortunately, ChatGPT doesn't know the cost of bad guy anime villain headquarters hidden in the woods, so I'm labeling it as a high-rise building. The property damage bill for Season 1 comes to a grand total of $126,891,060. An evil spirit trapped inside of a little girl breaks the one-way glass. Since the father is rich, he's buying top-of-the-line one-way glass, not cheap stage stuff or one-way film. We can see based on this shot that the one-way glass panel was about 50 feet wide by 20 feet tall, for a total of 1,000 square feet of one-way glass. Mob's family home burns to the ground. Mob finds the guys that burned his family home and he slams them into the ground. He makes a 4x6 hole in the ground that comes to a total of 24 square feet of hot patch asphalt. Toichiro, the red-headed boss of the bad guys, takes over Seasoning City Cultural Tower and orders his lackeys to destroy the surrounding area.
Is that so?
That's 1,590 medium-rise buildings that get destroyed. How do I know that? I'm glad you asked. I had revolutionary AI scan the landscape to give me the exact number of buildings that were destroyed. I definitely didn't spend an entire afternoon manually counting each one of these medium-rise buildings in Photoshop. That would be a crazy and painstaking process. Who would do that? There were also 5 streets destroyed. 3 helicopters get taken down by Hattori. An ambulance is wrecked. Reagan gets a phone call that his apartment is destroyed.
Well, crap.
The Awakening Lab kids and Scar detractors make 7 pigs fly. At the end of the episode, Reagan faces off against Red Hulk. They make a hole in the wall that's 12 square feet of concrete. Red Hulk surfs the side of a concrete building, 110 square feet of it, and then he nails the landing for 16 square feet of hot patch asphalt. Then Red Hulk faces off against Body Improvement Club leader Goda. Red Hulk steps on Goda for 288 square feet of hot patch asphalt. Then Goda fuses with Dimple and pushes Red Hulk into a wall, 36 square feet of concrete. And then the Body Improvement Club comes out victorious and they do 300 square feet of hot patch asphalt damage. Shimazaki throws Ritsu into a car. Ritsu retaliates by throwing 2 cars right back at him. Later on, Shimazaki throws Teru into a high-rise building. In this episode, Mob and his enemies put their differences aside to play a quick game of Katamari. The Seasoning City Cultural Tower gets destroyed in the process. The Cultural Tower is identical to Tokyo Skytree. We know this by comparing the exterior and interior photos. Check out these side-by-sides. We'll attach the cost of construction for Tokyo Skytree to Seasoning City Cultural Tower. Mob's fight moves from the skies to the underground. Tochiro is about to energy explode, and Mob tries to contain that, because he's a good guy. He's a good boy. He's made it really far on his self-development journey. We see an angle of the energy at 1247 that shows 3 destroyed pedestrian bridges. The contained explosion manifests in a giant broccoli from seeds Mob had in his pocket. The giant broccoli and its roots damage the sewer system of Seasoning City. At the end of this episode, Teru finds his home destroyed. The property damage bill for Season 2 is $26,645,421,462. Mob and Reigen help out a hoarder and make a 640 square foot hole in the roof. Reigen gets requests from citizens to investigate their property. In his briefings, he sees 3 single-family homes and 1 pedestrian bridge damaged. Later in this episode, we see many other buildings deteriorating and damaged from these mines. I'm not going to count all of these in my property damage estimations because a lot of these were damaged from the previous season's big fights. I'm not going to double dip my property damage. That's disgusting. Ew. Get that away from me. Get your high-rise building away from the dip, man. We don't know each other like that. Towards the end of the episode, we see 1 new low-rise building infected by vines. Then, we see fake mob lead a rally, which leads to a giant broccoli breaking through the stage. The stage is about 80 by 20 feet. That's 1,600 square feet of cement flooring. Reigen shows Mob 1 single-family home and 1 medium-rise building that is deteriorating because of the roots. We see 2 new medium-rise buildings and a street wrecked by vines. The final property damage arc begins. Mob walks home from school to a park where his lifelong crush, Tsubome, is waiting. He plans on confessing his love to her. On his walk there, he gets hit by a car. He explodes and destroys the street. The news reveals 4 low-rises and 2 cars destroyed. As Mob continues his walk to Tsubome, he arrives at the entrance of a forest. This angle reveals 1 low-rise building and 1 more car destroyed. In the forest, Mob fights Teru. They break 12 trees, and then Mob throws Teru into an apartment complex. As Mob approaches Teru, the ground shakes, and we see 2 condos destroyed. Mob and Teru level the entire apartment complex. That's 5 apartment complexes and 1 surrounding street. Based on the footage shown of the complex, there appears to be about 40 apartments per building. If we take the average square meters per apartment size, the Fujimino per square meter construction cost, and then convert to USD, we get $9,629,000. Multiply that by 5 buildings, and we get $48,145,000. Mob continues his trek of destruction at Smile Mart. The background shot reveals 16 medium-rise buildings and another street destroyed.
This is your real alert. It's about to get real.
During the next 2 episodes, you're going to see a lot of estimations of buildings destroyed, rather than an exact count. And that's because during Mob's rage, he completely flattens city blocks, and it's impossible to tell the exact count. Moving forward, we're going to base 1 city block as 16 buildings. I will categorize the building based on the rubble. The opening scene shows an alternate angle of the initial car crash. 16 low-rise buildings demolished. We cut back to the Smile Mart being destroyed, which is essentially a family mart. And I honestly have a problem with this. I can excuse property damage, but I draw the line at wasting all of that onigiri. The main bad guy with red hair from Season 2 gets released from prison just to stop Mob. He jumps out of the plane and lands behind Family Mart employees. This angle shows 6 medium-rise buildings and a street destroyed. Tochiro tries to punch Mob to no effect. Mob purple energy blasts and destroys 1 block of low-rise buildings, 1 block of medium-rise buildings, and a street. Tochiro and his son team up and they throw Mob through 3 giant green balls, and they explode? As I watched, I wondered to myself, what are these? What's stored in them? Is it water? Flammables? Pee? They're actually 3,000 cubic meter liquid petroleum gas tanks. I've never seen these in my American suburb, but apparently you can go on madeinchina.com and buy them from Mr. Zoo for $2 million. Anybody want to go halfsies on some LPGs? That's 3 giant green I mean liquid petroleum gas tanks. After the LPG explosions, Mob and the Suzukis continue fighting. 2 shots help us dissect all of this property damage. The shot at 12:08 of Ritsu overlooking the aftermath of the fight gives us a strong sense of the total property damage. We can compare this with the aerial shot from 2154 from last episode to get precise estimations. We see the following destroyed low-rise buildings: 4 to the right of the LPGs, 16 to the left, 8 across the street to the right of the LPGs, 4 northeast from the LPGs, 12 around the transmission tower. We can see that these are low-rises from the angle at 907, when Mob stands in front of the transmission tower before it's destroyed. We also have 4 streets getting destroyed and 1 transmission tower. After Mob beats up the Suzukis, he meets up with the Body Improvement Club. Because if you're gonna meet the girl of your dreams, you gotta make sure you get a nice pump going.
Sin City wasn't made for you.
He beats up the Body Improvement Club, Ritsu, 2 low-rise buildings, and 1 street. We cut to Reigen and the Umbrella Neat Guy. We see 1 block of medium-rise buildings and 1 street destroyed. Then we cut back to Ritsu waking up and see a new angle on the bridge, showing 2 more low-rise buildings destroyed. Then we cut back again and we see another block of medium-rise buildings and 1 more additional street destroyed. We made it to the final episode of Mob Psycho, y'all. Thanks for hanging in there with me. Why did I do this? Reigen and Serizawa walk past 2 blocks of destroyed medium rises and streets. The storm intensifies, so Reigen tells Serizawa to hold back. That's just a testament to the Omega Chad that Reigen is. I love you, man. The Reigen body pillow is only $20, but the real cost is losing respect, dignity, and worrying about your friends and family judging you for making content based around anime. He walks by another block of medium-rise buildings and a street destroyed. Mob throws Reigen into a bus. Then we see a shot of the chaos that features a damaged car. Mob throws a low-rise building at Reigen, but Reigen slides on that building with style. 10 out of 10. Claps for Reigen, everybody. As Reigen makes a last-ditch effort to reach after Mob, we see a series of angles that shows 2 blocks of property damage. The buildings mostly appear to be multi-residential, with single-family homes sprinkled into the mix. That's 24 multi-residential, 8 single-family homes, and 2 streets. We also see 5 destroyed cars. Next scene, Mob approaches the park where Tsubome waits. We immediately see a wide shot of the park, with 4 cars thrown up into the air. Next, we see 4 more damaged cars in the rubble. Then, 6 more cars in the parking lot leading up to the park. With the help of Dimple, Reigen makes one last valiant effort to stop Mob, and he does. The power of anime and friendship prevails once again! It would have been great to do this earlier though, Dimple. Where were you at, man? Mob blew up like half of Seasoning City. Jeez. All over a girl? As the grim skies start to fade and the sun shines, we see 4 new destroyed cars on top of the cars we counted earlier. And then we get an extreme long shot, and we see 10 additional destroyed cars in the parking lot. Season 3's property damage totals $2,429,689,720. That's what it would be if I counted right, but I double dipped on the buildings to the right of the transmission tower. I can't even take my own advice. The total for Season 3 is $2,236,123,720. We made it, everybody. We went from 0 to 100 in estimating the property damage in Mob Psycho. Give yourself a pat on the back. It's not easy being Seasoning City's accountant. Can I get a drum roll, please? The grand total of property damage in Mob Psycho 100 is $29,202,200,242. That's a lot of money. That's got to be like the total GDP of some countries. Maybe in post I could put some total GDPs up that's the same as the property damage in an anime. The voice actor for Season 1 and Season 2 of Mob Psycho, Kyle McCarley, asked me a really good question. Of all this property damage, what is Mob solely responsible for? We have to throw Season 1 and Season 2 out the window, because in all those instances, Mob is fighting evil spirits, beating up bad guys, and defending the citizens of Seasoning City. The property damage that Mob is responsible for happens from Season 3, Episode 10 to 12. After he gets hit by that car, he could have got up, asked the driver for his insurance, lawyered up, and got some money. But instead, he goes into a crazy fit of rage, he goes question mark mode, and blows up half the city, man. That's on you, Mob. That's... Wait a minute, am I victim blaming? Is it actually the driver's fault for hitting Mob? God, I guess I am. So depending on where you shift the blame, either Mob or the driver that hits Mob is responsible for the $2,377,374,000 of property damage that occurs from episode 10 to episode 12 of season 3. I am aware that Mob can repair things. After fighting with Teru, he repairs the school. After his friend's novel gets torn up, he repairs it all. They're beautiful moments. But Mob has also shown psychic exertion. After he uses a lot of psychic powers, he collapses. So repairing all of those medium-rise buildings, all of those streets, the giant green balls, it's gonna take a lot of work. And who's gonna pay him for all that labor? And it wasn't all for naught, right? I've provided you, the viewer, with wonderful information on how to calculate property damage in anime. With this newfound knowledge, when you boot up Chainsaw Man and you watch Denji square up against the Bat Devil, you're gonna know exactly how much those medium-rise buildings that just collapsed are. Your friend on the couch, who's just appreciating the beautiful animation and incredible sound design, they're not gonna know. But you're probably not gonna do that because you have hobbies and a sense of meaning. Like, comment, subscribe, all the good stuff. Thanks for watching, everybody. This is my body pillow, Reagan. He's so awesome and he's shirtless, 'cause he's the best.